What is up, guys? I'm Tyler. Welcome back to the channel. Today I actually want to charter with Oceanammo spearfishing. So we're going to go out to San Clemente Island and see if we can't catch any fish. So we'll see how this goes. So we started the day in the harbor at Seaforth Landing, and we loaded up the boat with me, Nick, Seth, and we headed offshore. We prepped for a long mission here, and we headed 60 miles out to San Clemente Island. It was a good ride, a little bit bumpy and a little bit long, but eventually we made it to the spot. We're going to be diving the kelp forest, hoping for yellowtail, but if we had to settle, we'd get some other stuff. So we loaded up our gear, loaded up with some Oceanammo spear guns, and headed out into the kelp forest. And here we go. I'm about to take my first drop. The viz was not as good as I'd hoped for, but still plenty of fish to go around. And I'm looking around here and I spot a little sheephead. So I'm gonna go take a warm-up shot on this guy. I sneak up, accidentally turn my GoPro off, turn it back on, and have an easy shot and absolutely whiff this thing. This was probably one of the worst shots I've ever taken in my life. Thank goodness it wasn't a giant, but I missed this guy at pretty much point blank range. And at this next spot, I saw my friend Nick pulling up a decent sized sheephead. So I decide I'm gonna take a drop here and see if I can find one of his friends. So I'm looking around, looking for any rock structure, and I'm taking a drop down and see what I can find. Looking, seeing some Garibaldi, some smaller sheephead, a lot of perch, and just cruising the bottom looking for a sheephead. And off in the distance here, I see a big boy trying to go into a hole. And I'm able to get a shot off before, and this thing tries to drag me straight into the hole. I'm able to pull him out, and this guy is a giant. One of the biggest sheephead I've ever shot. Don't have the exact weight, but this thing was an absolute unit. So as you can see me pulling this guy up, I am stoked. Like I said, this is one of the biggest sheephead I've shot, and so far in this day, I've missed a sheephead and just not been shooting too great in general. So this guy was a pleasant shot for me, and I finally got a hold of him. Alright, so as the day is winding down, we're trying to take some drops here, hoping for some yellowtail to swim by. And to be honest, it just wasn't happening. The visibility wasn't great, and we weren't able to see any. So we're again working back here in the shallows, probably about 25 feet here, maybe 30. And I'm looking around for sheephead and just not seeing much. So I'm cruising back up, but I am taking a solid drop here. I did have a problem. I didn't have a mask, and my mask that I borrowed kept fogging up on me, so that was annoying me. Taking another drop here up a little shallower, and I'm just kind of cruising around here towards the end of our session here before we had lunch. So I'm just kind of looking around, seeing if there's anything I can pick up. So I'm just cruising the bottom. Again, looking mostly for sheephead, but anything big that swam by was in danger. Here comes a little guy. He was a male, so I decided to take him just because I knew we were going to have lunch right now. It looked bigger underwater, but this was a pretty small sheephead. Just about 13 inches, so legal, but a little bit disappointing. I thought it was going to be a bigger one, but it happens sometimes when you're looking in the water. But still a good fillet and a good fish just to take home anyway. Well, there he is, little male sheephead right there. This is one of Seth's drops here that I got some footage of him. He is just now getting into spearfishing. He's going to be going to the World's Tournament in March, and Oceanammo did end up sponsoring him after this trip. As you can see there, he's in a different top and bottom because he's in hand-me-downs. He's using one of their rental guns, but he's able to get some good fish. And thank you, Oceanammo, for sponsoring him. Taking another drop out here in this kelp forest and looking around again, not able to really shoot any sheephead anymore because I already got my 2. So I'm just looking for bass and other things in the area. So I'm taking a drop here and just kind of looking around, seeing what I can see. There's a little sheephead right there, bunch of perch, and just kind of cruising through the kelp, enjoying it. And then I do end up seeing a bigger sheephead here, but I'll look at him. I'm not going to shoot him, just messing with him. And then he goes straight into the hole. This one was smart. Hopefully he'll be big next time we come. All right, we moved spots here after lunch, and this is actually Seth's camera. This is his first attempt at ever trying to grab a lobster. So he's looking down, and he sees one in the hole right there. He's never grabbed one before, so this is his first attempt. Sneaks up, goes for the grab, and he scoots out the back there. It's a good effort, not quite a perfect grab, but it's just crazy to see him out during the day. Now I'm going to be switching to Seth's camera and show you some of his shots. So he's actually loading up one of my other guns that I shoot, and this is a Roller 90. So he's loading this guy up because this is one of his favorites to shoot right now. And he is looking around in the shallows here for some sheephead. So we're looking around. This was actually a 2-day trip, so we were able to get out a second day as well. But he's looking around here, taking a drop, and he's going to get an easy shot there. And he passed on it. So now he's just cruising through the shallows, looking for anything in these cracks. And as he gets up over this, he surfaces and did not see anything on that first drop. He looked like he was going to shoot that opal eye, but then pulled back. And right here you can see a cool shovel-nosed guitar fish. It actually kind of freaks him out because he'd never seen him before. So this thing's kind of charging at him, and it pushes him back a little bit, kind of messing with him. I think it smelled something that we'd shot. So here's another drop from Seth. He's dropping down, again, shallow, maybe 10 feet. And he's just cruising along these rock structure, looking for something in the rocks here. And if you look there, you can see the head of a nice calico. He shoots right over this Garibaldi and absolutely stones a decent calico bass. Not a big one for sure, but probably about a 16-inch calico bass. And there he is. That is a good sized fish, and he was stoked on it. There it is. Nice calico bass. Perfect eating size, good for tacos, and then not too big that we would actually kind of hurt the environment there. But he shoots a good one, and then we end up taking it to the boat to take it off. Here's Seth again going down for another lobster to see if he can make his first lobster grab. He looks at this thing, and he just goes for a tentacle. So after seeing the video, I had to tell him, you don't do that. So he pulled him out, and he broke off on this guy, and he got back in the hole safe and sound. But I needed to tell him after this that, hey, you can't just grab the tentacles. And he's taking another drop here, looking again for some lobster. He's looking up in these cracks, seeing if he can't find any, and there's one right there. Actually, there's a couple, and he just kind of scares them. So we got to work on his approach on these guys. But he's trying to pull him out by the horn again and loses another chance at a lobster. All right, taking a bit deeper drop here, maybe about 20 feet. And he's dropping down, and out in front of him, he sees a decent sheephead cruising off in the distance. He closes the distance slowly, lets this guy turn sideways, and takes a nice shot on a California sheephead. And he's pulling this guy up. This was a good fish. Not a giant sheephead compared to the one I got, but definitely a solid one. All right, he found a school of opali here, and he ends up taking one of these guys. He has a bad habit of turning the video off. He did land it, but he turns the video off right here. And again, going along the bottom, sees another opali, takes another opali. All right, back out here looking in the cracks again. This is Seth's camera again as well, and he's taking another shallow drop here. Looking around in this area again for calico bass, and he sees one right there. Easy stone shot again on a nice size calico. And again, he does get this guy up. You can see him pulling him up right now. And he pulls up a nice fish. This one was another one about that 15-inch range. And then the camera actually froze. So again, here's Seth taking another drop in the same spot here, looking around for another sheephead. So he's looking around, and there is another decent sized one right there. And he takes that low going away shot, which is not one of my favorites, and he hits him pretty low. And this guy does end up pulling off. So he hits him from above, not a great angle to shoot at, and he ends up pulling off on the retrieve right here. You can see he's pulling up, and then he comes off, and I think he might have been able to go down and get him, but yeah, this guy came off and was able to get away while he was fixing it. All right, back out here in the kelp, and Seth sees a giant sheephead right there, and he takes a drop on this guy, and you can see there's one of Nick's sheephead. So Seth drops down on him. He was unable to close that gap though, but he was able to see Nick land a beast, and then he's gonna try again for another one. So Seth takes a drop here and absolutely misses a giant one. So that is pretty depressing, but that thing was a good fish. And then he's taking another drop here. This is Seth's, actually his first sheephead. This was a day before, but he's lining up, and you see him off in the distance there, and he gets a longer shot on a decent sized sheephead. For his first one ever, this was awesome. He'd only ever dove freshwater really before this, so he pulls up a good sized sheephead out of that kelp forest, and he was pretty stoked. You'll see me going down right now. I'm going to go down as a safety diver, grab this fish for him, stab it in the head, and then make sure we get this guy on the stringer, because I wanted him to make sure that he landed what is his personal best sheephead right now. So there it is.
I thought it was bigger.
Good sized fish. Not an absolute giant, but a good 4 to 5 pound sheephead, and stoked for Seth.
Get the stringer off my gun.
This guy was kind of a pain to get on the stringer, but we were eventually able to get him on there and get him ready to take home and eat up. But that is one of his biggest fish ever, and definitely his personal best sheephead right there. And it was a good size one. Super stoked for him. And this is my angle of Seth's fish. So here he is sneaking up down there. He looks great underwater for the first time really diving any kelp forest. And you'll see him take the shot right here. And I actually turned my camera off when I see him start to pull it up. So he takes the shot, and then I see the fish coming up from the distance there. And then I'm going to drop down and grab it for him. But there it is. That's Seth's sheephead. And it was cool that I was able to get 2 angles of this guy and make sure that we get this thing landed, because that was a stud of a fish. Super stoked for Seth there. And here's my angle of us finishing him off. There he is. Good fish for him. And a day wouldn't be complete without a little lobster lunch. We were able to get a couple, so we grabbed a few there, cooked them up for lunch, and then we made the long trip back home. It was amazing. Thank you, Paul from Oceanammo, for having us out. We had a great time, and hopefully we'll be able to get out there and do it again with you. All right, had a great time on the water with Oceanammo. Got a bunch of fish and had just a great day with the boys. Ate some lobster and just had an awesome trip with them. So if you want to be on one of these trips, check out the link down below. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe.